Hi, I'm Wendy from shinyhappyworld.com, and today I'm going to teach you how to do needle turn applique. I've shown you how to do applique with a fusible adhesive, and that's easy and it's really fast, but the results can be a little bit clunky sometimes. What I'm going to show you today is a hand technique. It's more time consuming and it takes a little bit more skill, but the results are beautiful. So this is how you prepare things for needle turn applique. This is the shape that I'm going to stitch on. And I've drawn on this with just a dark black marker because I wanted you all to be able to see it. But normally I would draw the shape that I want with something that's removable, something that dissolves with water, or a chalk line that can be brushed off. It depends on the color of the fabric. So for now I've got a dark line. You do want to do it so that you can see the line. That's important. And then you're going to trim about 3/8 of an inch away from your line. It's not important. You just don't want to be right there on your line. You would normally choose a thread color that matches the fabric, the yellow of the fabric here, but I wanted you all to be able to see the thread, so I chose a bright red. And you're going to bring your thread up right on the inside of that line. And then you're going to fold this under a little bit. And just finger fold it and lay it on the fabric that you're going to applique. Now I'm going to pick this up just so that I can hold all of it together. You're going to hold that pinched over. Sorry, I'm going to turn this so I'm sewing towards myself. Okay, so now I've got that area pinched down, and essentially I'm going to be doing the same stitch that I use for ladder stitching things closed. I'm going to go in right next to where I've come out on the applique piece, and I'm going to go through my background fabric, just a very small stitch. You want to make tiny, tiny stitches with this technique. Get that thread out of there. And then I'm going to go in to this fold, and I'm going to travel through that fold of fabric. Just a little bit of a stitch. So I keep catching the edge of the fabric there. The reason this is called needle turn is because you're going to use your needle to kind of sweep that fabric underneath and into the fold. And I'm going to keep going into the fabric right next to where the thread is coming out of the other piece. So I'm taking just tiny, tiny little bites of the fabric, and the thread is barely showing at all. So that the thread is being carried through the fold. I'm going to unfold this before I turn the corner so you can see it. The thread is being carried through the fold on the applique piece, and then I'm going to flip this whole thing over, and it's being carried through the backing fabric. But those parts of the stitches, the long parts of the stitches, are completely hidden. I'll flip it over. Now I came out at the point of this shape. One of the things that's great about needle turn is that it works very well for points. And I'm going to use my needle to tuck this fabric up underneath there. You use your needle like it's an extra teeny tiny little finger. So I'm coming out of the point, so I'm going to go into my background fabric just like before and carry it just a tiny little stitch. And now I'm going to go into this fold, and I'm going to, whoops, missed it, into the fold. Again, a very small little stitch, and then it's starting to come out a little bit. This is why you want that guide to your shape on the top of your fabric. Usually you would mark things on the back of your fabric, but for this you mark it on the top. So I got that all tucked under there with my needle. Now I'm going to do a little background stitch. Try not to stick my skin there. And you just keep going. Tiny little stitch into the shape that you're appliquing. And then sweep that under with your needle. And you do a tiny little stitch in your background fabric. And you can see, I try and take my stitches usually just on the inside of that line, but that line will still show up. It'll be on kind of the rolled edge of the fabric, and that's why I use a removable marking line. I really like to use the ones that will dissolve when you spray them with water, but chalk works really well on a dark fabric. Now I'm not going to do the whole thing, but the point was the trickiest part. And you just work your way around and just keep folding that under with your needle as you go. And it's not as slow as you would think it is, but it is definitely slower work than just slapping it on there with the iron. So that's how you do needle turn applique. It's definitely a slower process than the fusible adhesive, but the results are really beautiful. I'm Wendy from shinyhappyworld.com. See you next time.